The paths to success or failure differ only slightly. Success requires course corrections and perseverance. My friends, let's jump into these charts. We look at stocks moving in the right direction. That is down. Look at all the volume, and it's just Thursday. We're about where we were last week as far as volume goes, and then we can go back a few weeks and, of course, see the same kind of volume, but we have another day of movement left. S&P 500 down 1.20%. Things continuing to move in the right direction for our trade. And, of course, we're in a short position. As we look at the two-day chart, we can see this latest two-day candle finish drawing. Look at all that volume. 3 days of down movement, bouncing off the weekly trend line, moving in the right direction on the half-day chart. Look at all the volume there. Let me move it up so you can see it. Down in the morning, further down in the afternoon, things moving in the right direction for our practice trade on what? SH. That is one of many choices. It is the single inverse on the S&P 500, and it has done quite well for us here over the last several days. In fact, when we look at things as far as weeks go, let's go back to the S&P. We had that initial jumping in point down 1.83%. And then, of course, we had it stutter there for a week and then start the downward slide again. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ 100 down even more. 6 days of strong down movement on the two-day chart. Look at all the volume in this last two-day candle. I mean, spiking up crazy. We're already above last week on just Thursday. And, of course, we see things really spiking down, moving in the right direction. PSQ is the inverse fund for the NASDAQ 100, making up for the trade that did not work there, where we jumped in, popped up with that green up candle, knocked us out, and then, of course, the reversion to the mean, all things being equal. The markets tend to move in the direction of the largest chart, which is our weekly chart. That's why we trade off of it. Using the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, learning what we know about volume and how to use it to help us see what's really going on with investor sentiment, and being able to read through the lines when the market is being manipulated. How do you do this? You learn it by doing, not by using real money. We're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We want you to practice trade with us. Things moving in the right direction there. Let's look at bonds. Bonds popping up for the day, 1.53%. Now, we're below the weekly trend line on that half-day chart and on the two-day. You look at the two-day here, you can see where we had two-day candles moving down. That was that was the Tuesday, Wednesday of last week. That would have been the 17th and 18th. And then the 19th and 20th, Thursday and Friday. Then we got into a spinning top for the Monday, Tuesday. The Wednesday, Thursdays turned into a doji. So we're keeping a close eye on what's happening here. Is it going to breach through, or is it going to bang up against that weekly trend line again and spike off? So again, it has been very, very good to us as we jumped into this last trade and saw things move down 2.10%, where we then sold half of that position and let the rest of it ride. And man, has it been riding sweetly. So do keep a close eye on it as we get to the end of the week. Let's look at gold, up a little bit, 0.16%. Gold is continuing to try to move up. We can see where it stalled on the two-day. You can really see on the half-day, moved down, but then started moving back up. Haven't hit the high of last week yet. Hopefully Friday will be a good day for gold. Look at all the volume here, above average volume there. Average volume on this latest two-day candle. So we'll keep an eye on things, see which way it's going to go, hopefully continuing up. Lastly, Bitcoin pulling back a little bit after a massive week so far. You can see down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon, down 2.34%. See where Bitcoin is going to lead us. It has popped up strong last two-day candle, which did not encompass any of last week. That was Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday, Thursday. moving up a little higher. Of course, that was on Wednesday, not on Thursday. But decent, very decent candles so far, moving up to a more recent high above what we've seen over the last many weeks and months. That is where we are. Don't forget, Patreon members already posted at the Patreon channel your charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies, your three-wave trades, and going up tonight will, of course, be your weekly vertical crossovers. We take those from the S&P 500. Those are candles on the weekly chart that are going from green to red or red to green, giving you some opportunities to practice trade. If you appreciate what we do here, become a Patreon member yourself and obtain these great benefits and many more. In fact, the first thing you get, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. If you're interested in options and really compounding the success of your practice trades, you got to jump into options, at least get an understanding of how they work and practice trade them to see how much you like it. That's where we are, folks. Thanks so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. CW at chartingwealth.com.